Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
You have failed this city.
Wow. I know, right?
Maybe.
Tonight. What gives you the right? What's the difference between you and me?
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Thursdays, the Watchtower, where we talk all things DC. I am going to get rid of this border so you can actually see my face and me. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Yes, we made it. I made it, and with me today is the ever so positive Derpy Entertainment. How's it going? You there? You hear me? Are you talking? I don't know. I'm talking. I can't hear you, Derpy. Okay. Not hearing you, Derp. Not sure if you're muted on your side or what, but okay. I'm going to keep going. If you guys have any issues with audio with me, let me know. But yeah.
Can you hear me now?
There we go. I hear you, Derpy.
There we go. Sorry, I'm on my phone using this, so.
No problem. So what's going on, man?
Nothing much, another glorious Thursday with rainy, weather.
Yeah, weather's been kind of crappy. Well, actually, it's been kind of nice here. It was crappy the last couple weeks. It's supposed to get crappy again this weekend. It sucks. But anyways, there is quite a bit to talk about in regards to Superman. I mean, when they said the summer of Superman was going to be huge, they weren't kidding. It's huge. But who do we got in here so far? We have Trayvon. He says, I'm here. Donovan says the narratives are collapsing. The gun haters and Superman haters are fearing. We got Hunter Iggy asks, Slavs Free Talk, what are your thoughts on Hollywood Reporter say about James Gunn's Superman movie budget? We will talk about that for sure. Lawrence Fury's here, says, what up? So we got some people in here, and I'm sure the audience will grow as we move forward. Oh, Derpy dropped. He'll be back, though, he says. He will be back. That's all right. We're going to move into the first topic, though. What's going on, Amari? I see you in here. How's it going? So the first topic I want to bring up is a really, really cool topic here. Now, Real Anarchy reshared this earlier this week. And I know I did a video and I discussed one of the really cool things that they're doing for this Superman movie. And it's not DC that's doing this. This isn't James Gunn or DC or Warner Brothers. There's a company out there that's trying to help and just bring joy to underprivileged kids. And that's a really cool thing going on. But we saw something happen this weekend or this past week where somebody posted stating that they're saddened that they would not be able to see Superman in theaters, that they are living a very limited life because of their age and mobility problems, that their closest theater was about 45 minutes or 45 miles away. So there's some issues for this person. And it was really great to see that, like, the next handful of comments of people were, where do you live? I'll take you. I'll pay for it if I live close. I'll cover your ticket. I'll buy you a ticket. How much would it cost to see it? Give us the details. There are just people that are just jumping on board like, hey, I will help you, showcasing just how great people can be when people are in need. And that's that. I wanted to showcase this because this is just, as our movie news says, this is just so beautiful to see. It is. It's great. It's showing that Superman, this movie, is bringing the best out of many, many people. While we do sit here and we talk about some of the negative and the hateful rhetoric that's out there from time to time, there's a lot of good and excitement and hope and joy that can come from this film, and we're seeing it firsthand in something like this, and it's just a beautiful thing to see. It really is. So I encourage everybody, take a friend. If there's somebody that wants to see it and they're just like, I don't know if I can. If you have the means, take them to go see it. Do all that kind of stuff. Help them out. That's what this is all about. It's entertainment. It's about bringing joy, bringing happiness to people in a time that they may need it most. So it's good to see. Love to see it. All right. But let me know what you guys think about that in the comments for sure. And Donovan says, hope is back. Absolutely. Trayvon says, this warmed my heart. It's the thing. This kind of stuff is just great to see for sure. Movie Talk Now's in the house. What's going on? He says, I'm seeing Superman, Fantastic Four, and Jurassic World in theaters. It's my plan. So, why not? Why not? Why not go see them all? We want them all to succeed, essentially. So we started to get some character posters this week for Superman. And we got a bunch of them. Now, here's 6 of them that were basically the heroes of the film. Superman, Krypto, Robot number 4. We got Mr. Terrific. We got Hawkgirl. And we got Guy Gardner, Green Lantern. These are excellent posters here. I love it. And we knew we were going to get them. They do character posters all the time for these types of films. But my favorite is absolutely Krypto. I think he looks absolutely great, adorable, hilarious. Krypto is going to steal the show when it comes to the kids, no doubt about it. But Superman looks great. As I've said multiple times, Mr. Terrific is probably my most anticipated to see how they handle him in this movie. So I'm excited to see that. But we also got like all these behind the scenes type of things when it comes to this movie this past week. And there was a bunch of things. Where are we at here? Let's see. I got to scroll down. Like, here's some more of the posters that we got throughout the time. So we got Jimmy Olsen, played by Skylar Gisondo. We got not another. This is David Cornsweet as Clark Kent. I don't know. He's playing 2 characters in this movie, which I think is kind of weird. We got Wendell Pierce as Perry White, which, again, I still think is a awesome casting. Ever since he's been announced, I thought that was a perfect casting for Perry. Rachel Brosnahan as Lois, and people were freaking out this week because this has been like a 3-day process. They started releasing these posters, and then every day for 3 days they're releasing more and more posters. And people were freaking out because they weren't getting the Lois Lane poster. It's like, guys, it's coming. There's plenty of characters that they can release posters for. And we got it, and it looks great. Now, this one I think is kind of funny. People obviously want to try and, whether it's make fun of James Gunn or, poke the bear, whatever it is, they obviously had to go and make a James Gunn poster based off of this design. But in reality, they're just helping promote the movie, which is absolutely hilarious to me. What a lot of them don't understand is that they are just promoting the movie. So like I said in my post here, I said glad to see they're finally on board and helping promote Superman. Whether it was all show prior to this or they have turned a corner, I'm happy to see the Lethal Geeks have finally accepted the new DCU. Let's go. Go give them a round of applause, give them a hand, tell them congratulations, welcome them to the DCU family with open arms because, hey, we all get there eventually, right? Right? Yeah. All right. There was a great little edit from DCU updates that they posted of some of the clips that we got over this past week when it comes to the robots and then Superman and him fighting Kaiju, like all that kind of stuff. It's really, really cool. Like, this is a really great edit. I'm not going to play the audio because obviously I'll probably get hit with a copyright and I don't want to do that. We have some great, like this week was just super, super awesome when it comes to Superman content. Like, it was awesome. Like, it is beyond awesome how much stuff we've gotten. Now, with that, we got a book, and it's the prequel book to the movie. And one of the things that came out of that is the Justice Gang came out of it. Whoops, let me see here. I'm missing. I get no bumps. I thought Derby came back. But we find out where the name the Justice Gang came from or is coming from. And in this book, it says these heroes have formed a new team. They don't have a name yet, so they don't technically have a name yet. But Green Lantern likes the Justice Gang. Sometimes Superman works with them. Now, this is a children's book, mind you. But I think it's great that they're explaining, like, okay, this name, the Justice Gang, this isn't the actual name. So a lot of people who are sitting there like freaking out about the name, oh, they don't like the name. It's not the actual name, at least in the prequel. Maybe by the time the movie comes out, maybe that is the name. Who knows? Regardless, Green Lantern likes the Justice Gang. So it seems like it is Guy Gardner who has dubbed them the Justice Gang, which I think is cool. Now, I know, guys, there's a lot of stuff that I want to talk about. So I'm going to bust through a bunch of this stuff, and then I'll come to your comments here for sure. Now, we also got this week that we heard that Michael Rosenbaum is going to be voicing a few lines in Superman. He says, James asked me to do something fun, so I have a couple of lines that I voice. We don't know who it is. We don't know what it is. We don't know what character it is, anything like that. But we know Michael Rosenbaum's voice will be in Superman. Now, what I like about this is, one, because it's a voice, I'm glad that he's included in the production of Superman and that he's a part of it. Love it. What I like even more is that there's still an opportunity for him to get a bigger role down the line in the DCU under James Gunn. Michael Rosenbaum is such an underutilized actor. I think he is a fantastic actor who just, he is so underutilized, whether that's by his doing or studio's doings. I don't know. But yeah, I listen to his podcast. I know his story. I know all that stuff. I've heard him talk about himself quite a bit on that show. I just feel like he's underutilized, and I think if anybody could really use him properly, it is going to be James Gunn somehow in the DCU, and I hope they find a place for him in the DCU in full Michael Rosenbaum capacity. That's all I'm saying. So I'm excited about this, excited to see what he does in this movie, but I'm more excited because I think there's a good possibility and chance that he could be a bigger role down the line. I hope so, at least. All right. Real Anarchy posted this, which I love seeing this. This is the kind of stuff I see. I don't know if I'm guessing he found this and reshared it, but what I like about this is the setup for a shot that we see in the trailer. Now, this is behind the scenes, all right? And what's great about it is we see all this commotion down here with the film crew. You see an actor running. You see all this stuff going on. So this is all the setup, and then boom, it's crazy how she must be a stunt person, but how she gets pulled off. You can see the rig right there that pulls her. So there's the setup, and then we see a little bit more of a setup where either David Cornsweet or his stunt double, not sure who it is, goes and jumps, like catching her. All right. But then we see in the trailer this shot right here, and that's the shot. So we see the setup, and then we see the final shot. For those of you who enjoy films a lot and are always interested in how the cookies are made, if you're ever wondering how the cookies are made, this is it right here. Like this is the kind of stuff. This is what you start with. Well, this isn't even where you start. Like it really starts on the page, and then it's a storyboard, and then it's talking with the team for the setup, the VFX team. It's then talking with the crew, whether it's the stunt crew or what have you, getting everything set up for it. And then it's this, and then it's this. So there's a lot of process to get to that point. But it's really interesting to see even just this little bit of it here. It's great. And I step back and I take a look at everything that we got last summer, and like, oh man, we have all these behind the scenes things and all this stuff that's happening. Like, this is crazy. Like, why do we have so much stuff that we just, everything's getting leaked. Everything's getting leaked. We're seeing all these behind the scenes things on the streets of Cleveland. This sucks. Now I kind of like it, because now it's kind of like, oh, remember this? That's this scene. Remember this? That's this scene. Like we saw the little girl where he's protecting her from the explosion behind her. Like we saw that. Now we're seeing this. That kind of stuff. I love seeing that. So again, this is just cool stuff. This is just, and honestly, I think DC, James Gunn and DC Studios should utilize this kind of stuff to help promote the film. You know who's been doing this? Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise has been doing this kind of stuff to promote the Mission Impossible movies, the last like 3 or 4 of them, and maybe the last 3. He's been like, hey, so we've set up a stunt. It's a crazy stunt, and we've done this, we did this, and look at what we did. And yeah, his stunts are a little more crazier than something like this, but even highlighting something this just in a short, 12-second, maybe 20-second, 30-second video clip, just saying, hey, here's the setup, here's the shot, Superman coming July 11th. Like, that would be cool to do. I think DC Studios, should look at doing something like that, because I think that would be real exciting for the audience and fans to see. All right. Now, moving on. Guys, I see everything you're saying there. I'm going to get to it here in a second. DCU Defender shared a conversation that was going on with James Gunn on Threads. And Austin.profile on Threads asked James Gunn, any truth that Warner Brothers forced you to make it, Superman, shorter? James Gunn said zero truth to that. And they couldn't, even if that's something that they wanted to do. It's a DC Studios film. We've been saying this for how long now, guys? For how long have we been saying, look, this is a DC Studios movie. This is DC. It's James Gunn. It's Peter Safran. Yes, Warner Brothers is above them. Warner Brothers, David Zaslav is above him. But when it comes to Warner Brothers Pictures, they have no say in it. David Zaslav has given them the keys and says, I trust you to do what you have to do. Do what you do to see what you can come up with and make DC work. He's not going to sit there and micromanage them. He's not going to do it. I know there's so many people out there that want to sit there and believe that that's what David Zaslav is going to do, that he's going to be sitting there micromanaging DC. He's not going to do that. That's not what he's going to do. Does he expect to see a great outcome? Absolutely. But he's not going to sit there and nitpick, James Gunn, you need to make sure this movie is at 2 hours and 3 minutes or 2 hours and 4 minutes or what have you. No, he's going to say, look, make the best movie you can make. It needs to be tight. It needs to be cohesive. It needs to be action-packed. It needs to feel like Superman. And James Gunn's going to be like, yeah, boss, I'm going to do it. And he's going to go do that. And that's how it's going to be done. Warner Brothers Pictures has nothing to do with him. They're not going to have any say in what James Gunn does. So James Gunn and Peter Safran, when they make this Superman movie, which they've made it, in the editing room, they're going to edit it, which they and how they see fit. They're going to do test screenings with their families and friends and co-workers, and then have some outside test screenings and so on and so forth to get this movie right, just as every film does. Once they get it to a point that they feel is right, they'll get the VFX finished. They'll make sure all that's done. They'll have the right composer or composers come in and do the work that they need to do. And I say composers, yes, because they brought a second composer into this movie. That's not unheard of. It's not like it's never happened before. Specifically on a superhero film, does anybody remember Batman vs. Superman? Dawn of Justice had 2 composers attached to it. Like, again, this isn't anything brand new that happens in a superhero film. So when you sit back and you take a look at these types of things, James Gunn is going to make the best film that he can make. So all this crying and bitching and moaning, oh, this movie's going to be less than 2 hours. It's going to be less than 2 hours. Well, no. James Gunn has confirmed that Superman's runtime is officially 2 hours and 9 minutes. Not just that, but he says it like this. Yes, inclusive of credits, post-credits, interesting, runtime is 2 hours and 9 minutes. So that's what he's doing here. Now, that's exciting. I think it's exciting. I'm sure a lot of you think it's exciting. But I am going to ask you all this. And I've said this, and I've talked about this before. Does it matter if it's 2 hours? Does it matter if it's an hour and 40 minutes? Does it matter if it's 2 hours and 30 minutes? Does it? Not one iota. As long as the movie is good, exciting, fun, and you leave that theater saying, man, that was a good time. I don't care how long the movie is. Longer movies, don't mean that the movie's good. Shorter movies don't mean that the movie is good. It's that simple. So this weird behavior that some people have about saying, "Oh, it's only 2 hours and 9 minutes, man. This is going to be crap." No, that's not how it works. It's not how it works. But again, what do you think? Do you think it matters? I don't think it does, because it doesn't. It doesn't matter at all. All right, and I believe that's all I have for the quick stories I want to cover. Let me get over to the chat because I know there's plenty of things to talk about over here. All right. Where are we at? Rio Anarchy jumped in and said, "Sup, buddy, got my fan." Wow. Fantastic Four tickets? There's a fourth one already? Let's see. What else do we got? We have Donovan says crypto is great. Anyone saying he's uncanny valley or dead soulless eyes have no clue what they're talking about. That's when you're talking about the where's it at? I lost them. The posters. I don't think I have them here. Yeah. No, you're not wrong. I think it looks great. The poster of crypto looks fantastic. And I don't know why anybody thinks that it looks uncanny valley, because it looks perfectly fine. There's no, I don't see what they're talking about at all. They're just saying they're talking to hear themselves talk and get attention is all they're doing. The Watcher's here. Hey, what's going on? Donovan Martin says, no Ultraman poster? No, there is actually no Ultraman poster. There was a Rick Flag poster. There was an Engineer poster, but there was no Ultraman poster. Nor was there a Hammer poster. Hammer of board, whatever. Yeah, there was no poster for that either. Let's see. Jalen Harris says, "I rather not welcome them to the DCU fandom, but I'll try to be the bigger person in this space." Talking about where are they at here? I lost it. I keep losing this stuff, but yeah, talking about Lethal Geeks. Yeah, I was just joking. They totally were trying to pick at James Gunn and stuff. They haven't come into the DC fandom at all. You know that. I was actually the one poking the bear there, seeing if they would react, but they haven't. That's all right. They don't have to. We know how they really feel about me. We know. Donovan says, interesting. They highlighted that Metamorpho is being blackmailed by Lex. Yeah, I do apologize. I wish I had more pulled up. I was trying to save as much as I could on my profile, specifically on my timeline on X as I could. I've been slammed the past few days. There is a piece that I guess Metamorpho is being held, and he's basically, I guess, being blackmailed by Lex Luthor. That if he doesn't help Luthor, he'll do something bad to him. So he has a choice to either work with Superman or work with Lex or something like that. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Trayvon says the son becomes the father the son. Okay, that's Superman Returns, man. What are you doing? What are you doing there? Boy. All right, we got Hunter Iggy says, rumors DC Studios is considering moving Supergirl movie to May 1st in 2026. Yes, I saw that rumor pop up just a little bit ago before I started the show. That's an interesting rumor. It's not a bad idea. I think that would be a smart move for them to do if they can get the movie done in time. Now, mind you, look, Superman, he gave their team and himself plenty of time. Look, they finished filming Superman in July last year? So that gave them almost an entire year of post-production. Now, Supergirl finished filming not too long ago. So, yeah, I think it's very possible if they could get that movie done, post-production done, locked and everything by May 1st. If they think they can get it done, absolutely, I say move it to May 1st. If not, they should not feel like they have to. They should not feel like they have to. But if they think if they can get it done, and it will be just as great as it would be if they released it in June, why the heck not? Why the heck not? I think it would be a smart move. Get it out a little bit earlier, a little bit sooner. Get people more excited. Why not? I think it's a great idea. That could be something that they announce after Superman comes out. Maybe if, once they see how successful Superman is, they could say, look, you love Superman? Well, thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for all the box office revenue. Because we love it so much and we love you guys, we're moving Supergirl up to May 1st. Yeah, they could do something like that. It wouldn't be a bad idea. It would not be a bad idea. Jonathan Noble, after this is all over, I've been wondering where the Snider Bros going to go. If you think about it, there will be nowhere left for them to go. Twitter, X, Instagram, their YouTube channel. Well, I asked that question myself on X. Where is it at? What was it? Yesterday I asked that? I asked that question. I can't find it. But I asked that. I said, honest, I really wanted an honest response from people because I want people to be honest with themselves, not me necessarily. I want them to be honest with themselves on how they feel about this movie, about how they feel about DC and everything like that. Because a lot of people they're like, here it is. A lot of people are just like, just hating DC because it's James Gunn, or hating DC because it's not the Snyderverse, or what have you. And I want honest answer from those who think it will flop. When Superman is a success, what will you do? How will you react? Out of 48 responses, I got a lot of people who are fans of mine, or people who are believing that Superman's going to be a success, and they were the ones answering for the ones who think it's going to be a flop, which is fine. I wanted people that truly believed that the movie was going to flop. I wanted the Lethal Geeks, the Aaron Fishers, the Sean O'Rourke's, whoever, all those people who really believe that this movie is going to flop. I wanted those people to answer in this section here. I wanted them to sit there and say, when this movie is a success, I will do X, Y, Z. I will admit that I was wrong. I will admit that James Gunn was the right choice for this movie. I will admit this. Because here's the thing. If it's a success, them admitting that they were wrong doesn't have to mean that they like the movie. Doesn't mean that they have to sit there and love this film. But at least admit, like, hey, I was wrong. It was going to fail. Hey, perhaps James Gunn was the right man for the job. I was wrong. That's what I'm looking for. If why not? If anything, be true to yourself. Be the bigger man in that case. That's all I'm asking. I want an honest answer from these people. They're never going to stop asking for the Snyderverse to come back. That's never going to end. It'll get quieter and quieter because more and more people will leave the fandom. Makes sense. But it's never going to end. So that's all. That's all. That's what will happen. Donovan says, everyone criticizing Superman from behind the scenes really jumped the gun. Cough, cough. Really jumped the gun. I don't know what you're talking about there. Sorry. Jonathan says, they won't be taken seriously wherever they go. They will be a laughing stock if and when Superman crushes the box office. When Superman crushes the box office. Fatal J stopped by, says, I was riding with Gunn the entire way until the human way, quote, he's giving the cult ammunition. Well, thank you, Jay, for bringing that up, because I wrote about that today. And here's the thing. I don't know if you're still in here, Jay. I don't know if you're still in watching Fatal. I don't know if you are. Because when I saw this, I thought it was a joke at first. I did. It was, 2 years ago that DC tried to push a change in truth, justice, and a better tomorrow. They tried to take away the American way in 2021, 2022, 2022, something like that. I don't know. It was a few years ago, whatever. It's in my, I wrote it here. Yeah, it was in 2021. It was truth, justice, and a better tomorrow. They rolled that out during DC Fandom. But people kind of were like, really? Now, sure, there were some people who were like, yeah, that makes sense because America sucks. Like, what? No. Now, for those of you, I'm not going to get political here, but I am very pro-America. I'm very yes, I stand for the United States of America. I want America to thrive. I believe America is and can be the greatest country in the world. So when you're going to sit there and take out something that has been part of our culture for the better part of nearly 100 years, nearly, not 100 years, but nearly, I was kind of like questioning that. I was like, why? Why make it a better tomorrow? So the fact that James Gunn then is like, well, we're not going to use better tomorrow. We're going to do something different. So he goes, Superman now stands for truth, justice, and the human way. In the human way. What the heck does that even mean? He says, the tweak centers Clark on all of us, spotlighting everyday heroism, noble idea. But humanity was already baked into Clark the day Pa Kent told him the most powerful man on earth could still be a farm boy with good manners. This is why I think it should not change from American way. Now, for those of you who don't know, the American way was not the original saying. Like, that wasn't Truth, Justice, and the American Way didn't come out until a radio serial. So it wasn't even in the comics. It was from the radio that it came out. And then they put it in the 1950s TV show. But what it did was it captured America at its aspirational best. It was welcoming immigrants, punching fascists in the face, and shooting for the moon. Superman personified that because two Jewish kids who lived in Cleveland believed their adopted homeland could be that beacon. The U.S. is still the planet's emergency hotline. Kal-El remains its mythic ambassador. That's why saying truth, justice, and the American way is still important. If it wasn't for, if you take a look at the world today, who do these countries go to when they need help? Where are all these issues when it comes to immigration? Where 90% of it is it taking place? It's America, because everybody wants to come to America. Everybody wants the help from America. So when you sit there and say truth, justice, and the American way, yes, it makes sense. It makes sense to utilize that line. It's a line that has been synonymous with Superman for nearly 100 years. It's a line that actually makes sense when you get down to it. And the crazy thing is, are the people who sit there and cry about it most, who will sit there and say, oh, America sucks. Nobody wants to talk about America. Nobody wants to look at America that way. Don't look at it from the way I just explained it. Because when this was truly created, it was about America. It was about, you would go to America because you wanted the best in yourself, the best in the world. It was bringing immigrants in. It was doing all of that to be the best that you could be in the army. But that was what it was all about. Why change it? Why change it? The better tomorrow, stupid. It was always stupid. The human way, that's even more idiotic. That is more idiotic. And yes, I think it's stupid for James Gunn to have done that. But here's the thing. I can sit here and criticize what I think is a dumb idea by James Gunn. I could sit here and say, you know what? James Gunn made a really, really bad idea for this movie. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to be first in line to see this movie. That doesn't mean that I don't think this movie is going to be awesome. That doesn't mean that I don't think that this movie is going to be successful. No movie is perfect. There isn't a perfect movie out there. Writers aren't perfect. People aren't perfect. Like, there's going to be some things that I don't agree with the movie. And that's okay. That's okay. You know, I don't need to agree with everything. This, though, I think is just dumb. I think they should just go back to the American way. Like, I don't know why they're trying so hard to get away from that when it truly is something that is synonymous with Superman and is truly aspirational for the entire world still to this day. But I don't know. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on it, though, in the comments below. Thank you, Fatal, for bringing that up in the comments. Movie Talk Now says they might as well put up a Batman poster because, mark my words, DCU Batman will appear in this movie. That'd be awesome if he did. Would be awesome. Jonathan Noble says, I think Deadpool and Wolverine was 2 hours, 9 minutes, and it didn't seem too short at all. Well, that's the thing. It doesn't matter how long it is as long as it's good, it's exciting, and you enjoy yourself. That's what it comes down to. Dave says, $225 million budget makes a lot of sense for a movie like Superman. Yeah, you're not wrong. Here's something that's interesting. I don't have it here. No, I don't have it here right now. I'll get to this in a second. So this budget, where did it go? I thought I had it on my notes. Oh, wait, here it is. Aha, found it. So there's an article that came out a couple days ago. I did a video talking about it where it was from The Wrap. They said that the budget was about $225 million for Superman. But now Hollywood Reporter releases an article today. And in the article, they say that the marketing budget is around $200 million and that the budget, the production budget for Superman was around $360 million itself. They leave out many things when it comes to what they're talking about here. I'm not saying the Hollywood Reporter is wrong because their numbers could very well be right, but they leave out many factors, such as the tax breaks that they can get on the marketing. When it comes to marketing, you get tax breaks on it. And that tax breaks usually works out to being, because you get state tax breaks, federal tax breaks. I mean, you're looking at, they're probably, out of that $200 million that they spent, they'll probably save like $50-60 million. That might even be on the high end. So let's just say the $200 million that they spent on marketing, let's just say that's really like 140, 50 million dollars on marketing, because after the tax breaks, that's what they're spending. And then on the production side, they don't include the tax incentives they get, the tax breaks they get for going and shooting in certain places in the country and the world, plus any bonuses that they get for going and shooting in certain areas. And that can drastically take it down from that 380 or 360 all the way down to 225 easily. That is a possibility. Now, I still don't agree with that 360 that they're saying, because James Gunn has shot that down. And I don't fully agree with the 225 either. I still think that could still be inaccurate with what the actual budget is. I wouldn't say that it's outrageous. I could say, yeah, that could be accurate. I could see 225 being right, but I could also see it being a little lower and even maybe a little higher. But I don't fully agree with it. But there's people who are sitting there trying to say, oh, this movie now needs to make $900 million. It needs to make $1.5 billion. It needs to make $1 bajillion to be successful or to make a profit. No, it doesn't. If we take the numbers as they are here, okay, as what the Hollywood Reporter is reporting on, if you take the 400 and the 300, or not the 400, I'm sorry, the 200 and the 300, you're going to get some outrageous 500 and some odd $1 million budget. That's not how much the movie cost. First off, we know that 360 is inaccurate. So that goes down to around 200. And like I said, you get that tax breaks and the tax incentives off of the marketing. That takes it down quite a bit itself. You're looking at a movie that cost less than $400 million, most likely, to make. Maybe $400 million. Maybe. Even then, you're looking at a movie that needs to make like 700 to 740 to start being profitable, which is what I've been saying is quite possibly what this movie is going to make, if not more. So all these people who are sitting there trying to say, oh, it's got to make this much, it's got to make $1 bajillion or what have you, they're all talking out of their ass is what they're doing. And it's all poppycock is what it is. I just truly believe that people want to bash this movie any way they can, when in reality, there's not a lot of real information that we have. This specific article here is just like, we're hearing this from this source tells us this source tells us that. None of this is actual information. And that's what I've been trying to say from the very beginning. Any of this information we get, I'll sit here and play with the numbers all day long and tell you, if it's this number, this is what it means. If it's this number, this is what it means. But in the grand scheme of things, we don't know what the actual numbers are. But also, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter one iota what the numbers are. Because DC Studios, James Gunn, Warner Brothers, they all have in their head what they believe to be what's going to make this movie successful. From reception to how much money it makes, to how the sales of the merchandise goes, to how well it does on streaming, to how well it does on sale. Like, all this stuff is encapsulated to how successful this movie is going to be in their eyes, and will determine where this goes forward and how this moves forward. It doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what Lethal Geek says, what Aaron Fisher says, what Tyrone Magnus says. It doesn't matter what Sean O'Rourke says. It doesn't matter what Joe Schmo down the street says, what Donovan here says in the chat. It doesn't matter what anybody says about any of this on YouTube, down the street, on TikTok, on X. It doesn't matter, because the studio knows what they want and what they're expecting. That's what matters. It's fun to talk about, and I will talk about it all day long, especially if anybody asks me about it. I've had a couple people ask me about it. Talk about it all day long, and I'll give you my thoughts and my opinions on it. But again, we know that this is an investment. Warner Brothers knows this is an investment. DC knows that this is an investment, because this is the start of a new franchise, and they can't expect this movie to make $1.5 billion. So they know that, hey, we got to get people back on board and get them excited about DC again. So they know what to expect. They know what they're going into. So, yeah, there we go. That was a long-winded discussion there. Fatal J says, bro, I was one of the people in the beginning of the Snider Cut movement. I don't know what. I guess you're talking to somebody there. Sorry, Fatal. Yes, you were, but you were. I saw you there. I saw you. Fatal J says, if Gunn hit $1 billion, they will say bots. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Fatal J says, smash that like button, people. Yes, please smash that like button. Hit subscribe too. Share it around. Do all that jazz. Tell your grandmothers. Tell your grandfather. Tell your aunts and uncles about my show. It's a good time. Let's see. Fatal J says, Superman is for the world, but he is still an American. 100%. Let's see. Wow, you guys are still talking. I'm way behind on the stuff here. You know what? While I'm looking at this, let's do a quick little ad. You know my ad for Saber thing, Nsabers. There you go. Guys, I want to talk to you about nsabers.com. I was lucky enough to partner with them and talk about some of their cool lightsabers that they offer. This one here is one of two that comes in a package called the Twins. This is an awesome lightsaber. It's got some great features, different colors, different sound effects, and things like that. But nsabers.com offers a plethora of different types of sabers and prices as well. Some as low as like $99 up to like $800. Some that are great for dueling, some that are great for conversation pieces that sit on your mantle or on your shelf. but I encourage you all to check out nsabers.com. Use my code SLAVSFT for an additional 7% off on any of the crazy deals that they have going on right now to get a great lightsaber for yourself and maybe for a friend. All right, so thank you again, and Sabers for helping me out here. They're great sabers, guys. I have mine sitting right there. I pull it out, but I probably knocked something over. They're great sabers. Jalen Harris actually says something great here. He goes, so when will we hear the official budget? Like, really, I'm sick and tired of this back and forth with this budget bullcrap. Honestly, Jalen, we may never hear it. There's many times where we never hear what the budget for movies are. For instance, I'm going to go talk quickly about Star Wars. I know you guys don't like Star Wars. I'm not going to talk Star Wars, but I'm going to talk budget real quick. The sequel trilogy came out, and we never really talked about budget for those movies. And then in 2022, maybe, we all of a sudden heard about the budget for the Rise of Skywalker. And there was talk that it was the most expensive movie ever made, that the budget was somewhere around $550, almost $600 million for that movie. Absolutely outrageous. But we never got confirmation on it. Especially when it comes to big movies like this, you rarely get confirmation of what the actual budget is, because you don't always know what the tax incentives are. You don't know what kind of behind the scenes deals they made with product placement and things like that that'll take off from the budget, all that kind of stuff. You don't know all that information. So when all is said and done, you could have a movie that they dropped $200 million on, but with tax savings and everything like that, they could come out only have spent $50 million on it. You never know. And when it comes to us here, the normal people, we sometimes will never know what it is. I'm sorry. I just came across Hosea. I hope I'm saying your name right, Hosea. It says Americans can't even decide what a woman is. Better tomorrow is way better. Bravo. I clap. I clap for you. I clap for you. I still say American way, but you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Well done. Well done, Hosea. Well done. Oh boy. Man, you guys are really going at it with the American way stuff here, aren't you? Whew. I was trying to get past all of it during the ad, and I just can't get past it. All right, so I'm going to move on. I skip over all this stuff. Move on to the final topic here for the last 10 minutes. James Gunn talks about metahumans when it comes to the DC universe. And he was asked about, isn't the only person here who is a metahuman Hawkgirl? Superman and Krypto aren't human. 4 is a robot. Mr. Terrific is just super smart. Guy's powers come from a tool. So James Gunn says, in DC Comics, a metahuman is a human-like being with extraordinary, often paranormal abilities. These powers can arise from a variety of sources, including science, magic, alien origins, mutation, divinity, proficiency, or technology. Therefore, 4, which is a robot, is probably not a metahuman, but Terrific, Mr. Terrific, arguably is. Krypto is meta, but I won't say he's not human because he might read this. Whoa, crazy. So over on SlavsFreeTalk.com, I wanted to get to the bottom of this because there was some little back and forth with this. People were like, well, that's not really what metahumans are. And people were asking, is Superman a metahuman? Because he's an alien, not metahuman. So like I said, what James Gunn said is, metahuman is a human-like being with extraordinary, often paranormal abilities. These powers can arise from science, magic, alien origins, mutation, divinity, proficiency, or technology. That's what he said. So basically, in layman's terms, and the most simplest way to say it, if you're bipedal, so if you walk on 2 legs and can melt a tank with your eyeballs, or you're enchanted saxophone, congrats, you're a meta. That's a simplistic way of saying it, okay? Now, the classic lore, this is pretty much the classic lore. There is a metagene in DC. An Earthling's dormant DNA switch that flips under stress. That was in Invasion 1988. Anything goes power sources, chemical, spill, sorcery, alien tech, divine blessings, TikTok lightning challenges, anything like that. I can get crazy with things. Human-like umbrella, the term often stretches to aliens or gods when writers feel like it, but root concept is still person-shaped being beyond human abilities. So basically, if you look like a human, that's what human means. It's that simple. And that's what it means in DC Comics. If you look like a human, you're a human, essentially. Plain and simple. Why the definitions match and why it matters? It's more broad by design. DC needs one label that covers the Flash's lightning lab disaster and Wonder Woman's godly DNA. Both explanations keep it flexible. It makes it easier with story shorthand, whether Gunn is scripting movies or you're binging comics. Metahuman instantly tells the audience this person breaks physics, so don't try it at home. World building unity using the same umbrella term across comics, films, and now the DCU lets Gunn align his cinematic sandbox with decades of canon instead of inventing new jargon. So, does that mean that Superman's a metahuman? I guess so. Which is really interesting because, even I myself, when I sat there and I would like sit there and think about it, I'd be like, no, he's not a metahuman. Like, I always looked at metahumans as Earthlings. But when I started doing some research after this, I'm like, I'll be damned. Really, anybody who is of humanoid nature that's in DC is human. And it's not that they're calling that person human. It's that they're just like, the broad term in metahuman is just, if you look like a human, that's what it is. That doesn't mean you're human. It's just the broad term for it. So that's just an interesting way to do it. So I know that there's going to be a lot of people who don't agree with this. I always liked the idea that Superman wasn't metahuman. I always liked the idea that he was different. Because you had all these metahumans, you had all these heroes, you had all these people that were metahumans, but then you had Superman who stood out alone. I always liked that better. So moving him into that metahuman category kind of ruins that for me a little bit, but I'm willing to see where it goes. Let's just say that. I'm willing to see where it goes. But let me know your thoughts about this in the comments. I'd love to hear what you have to say. All right. Well, Critic Chris here says, Aaron thinks Guy Gardner is metahuman. No, he is not. His power comes from Ring that constantly needs recharge. Metahumans are inherent. Their power is biological or some other means. Well, anything goes power sources, chemical, spill, sorcery, alien tech, right there, man. Critic. You may come at me with this, but being really smart or alien tech, the Ring is alien tech. That does make Guy Gardner a metahuman then. And that's kind of the whole idea, behind, everything there. Is like, let's make everything as simplistic as possible and not like, okay, these are metahumans, these ones are alien of this sort, this one, like that's what DC did. So you may not like it, but it's kind of what it is. The Watcher says Gunn did a good description of metahumans. You're right, he did. I just kind of expanded on it a little bit for him here to help out. What else do we got here? Derpy says, wow, we just got a new TV spot. Are you serious? Now I got to find this TV spot. Is it on X? Let's see. Maybe. Superman. Celebrate Superman Day, April 18th. There's this just something. This is just something that Real Anarchy made. Okay, that's cool though. Yeah, Kevin Smith talked about Superman, and he's real excited about it, so that's cool. Progressive made a commercial. Look, it's going to be Superman's everywhere. It's everywhere. I see a Superman Progressive commercial. Let's see. I'm not seeing it on X at all. That's unfortunate. Unfortunate. That bites. Well, maybe I'll see it at some point. That'd be great if I did. Yeah. So I honestly can't find it. All right, that sucks. But I wanted to see if I could find it. Hosea says, where'd he go? Hosea says, I enjoy your videos, man. Happy to be here. Your pronunciation of my name is spot on. Perfect. Also says, where did Kevin Smith talk about it lately? I'm not sure. I just saw people talking about it on X. I'm guessing because I saw that there was a new Fat Man on Batman that released like yesterday. I think it was yesterday it released. So it's probably there is my guess. But I didn't listen to that podcast at all. My guess is that's where it was. Critic Chris says, I'm going by what I've read on Metahuman. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, Critic. But according to what James Gunn is saying, Aaron wasn't wrong with that. So I'm just saying. Yeah, man, you guys are still going with the American way stuff. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. I did want to pull up this. Where is it at? Find it real quick. All right, this here. Talked about it before, but talk about it again. Tickets for James Gunn's Superman are expected to go on sale on June 12th. We talked about it last week, or earlier this week, and last week, I think. Talk about it now. Tickets are going on sale June 12th. I think that's pretty much a given. It's next week. Guys, don't miss it. Get in line. That's not really a line. You remember? You probably are all too young. I remember the days of having to go to the theater to wait in line to buy tickets for a movie that came out later, like down the line. Hell, I remember for concerts having to go to like Ticketmaster booths to buy tickets for concerts. Like, man, I'm old. I'm old. But yeah, honestly, AMC, Fandango, all that kind of stuff. Donovan says they moved it up to the 11th. Is that what the TV spot was about? Is that what it was? Because I haven't seen anything. If I could see a TV spot, it'd be great. You're saying they moved it up to the 11th. If that's true, I'm all for it. I'm looking, as you guys see. I'm trying to find stuff on X here, but I don't see anything. Let's see. Kevin Smith, yeah. So you see on DCU updates, Hosea, if you're still here, there's this what Kevin Smith talks about right there. Keebler's in on the Superman fun. Look at that. I don't see it. Yeah. I mean, if that's what it is. Oh, it's 11th for Amazon Prime Early Access. Okay, so the 11th is Prime Access. Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see. I'm excited. I mean, obviously they'll announce when the tickets are going on sale probably a few days before for sure. But I mean, who knows? Honestly, I mean, it really, it is what it is. Like we'll know when they're going on sale before they go on sale. So I'm excited. Are you excited? I'm excited. Probably shouldn't have kept that picture up. Yeah. But anyways, I think that's about it for today, guys. I think that's about all I got. I gotta get to bed here. Yeah, I'm sorry I haven't been my video content hasn't been as active lately. I got a lot of stuff going on here. Like I told you a few weeks back, my mom was in the hospital. Then she went into rehab for the issue that she was having with her arm. And now she's home. She's back home, but I'm kind of running back and forth to help her out here and there. So it's kind of limiting my time. So I'm, family first. So that's why if you're seeing limited output from me on YouTube, that's why. I'm going to try and make sure that I get my live shows as much as possible, but that's what's going on. So I do apologize to all of you for not being there. Anytime any big news breaks, though, I'm going to try and make sure I get a video or something out about that like I did earlier this week with the things that dropped. So keep an eye out for that on my channel. What do we got over here? Hosea says, I'd be interested in knowing what Kevin thinks since he was involved with Superman Lives and is a big nerd himself. When it comes to Kevin Smith, I have like a love-hate relationship with him. Like, I used to love Kevin Smith. Like, he used to be one of my favorite nerds to listen to and hear his opinions on and things like that. But over the last probably like 6-7 years, if that long, I've realized that he refuses to ever talk negatively about anything, so it's really hard to get an honest opinion from him sometimes. Yeah. DCU Superman News is reporting tickets go on sale June 11th at 12 p.m. Eastern. So we will watch that very closely, and I will let everybody know on my Monday show, Monday at 8:30 p.m. if we have any updates. I will let everybody know what's going on there. Yeah. So thank you, Donovan, for that. Hunter, yes, if I'm ready for the NBA draft this month. I don't watch the NBA, man. I'm sorry. I'm not an NBA guy. I will say, being that I'm right outside Pittsburgh, I don't know if you guys heard, Aaron Rodgers is coming to the Steelers. Woo! Boy. All right. Well, guys, thank you all for sticking with me today, watching the show. It's been great. Thank you for all the interactions. Follow me on X. That's where you're gonna hear a lot of stuff from me. Hey, if you haven't partaken in the community polls that I do on YouTube, please partake. We're getting some real fun interactions over there. I'm putting up daily polls on some fun, what if scenarios or this or that scenarios. Who doesn't like to vote on a random poll here and there? So it's a lot of fun. Make sure you follow me on YouTube so you can see when my shows are, see when things are coming up, and partake in all those polls. So with all that said, guys, thank you so much for watching. With all that said, I'll catch you all